Good morning, the FBI here. My name is Stephen Ferris, and as promised, I have Moby with me right now. It's nearly impossible to encapsulate your career in any one glib sentence, and I'm not going to try. We're going to leap around. We're going to do a mixture of things. We're going to play some influence music. We're going to play some songs of your past, like we just did, and we'll play some tracks off your new album as well. So we're just going to jump around, and my questions will be random as well. So let's just enjoy it.
Okay, great.
The notion of that last song, and I think that over the years you have gone from obviously expressing and being in bands that have punk influences, and obviously there's the whole sort of early 90s rave tech thing, which have expanded into other things. But in the end, I think what I feel is the essence of your music is the voice, and it's the voice that has touched people. And there's a number of voices you've used over the years, from gospel choirs to the found blues to your own voice to all the guest singers you've got on your new album. And to me, I think that's what has struck most people I've spoken to as to what has cut through with your music. Would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, it's tricky because I don't have much objectivity as regards my own music. So when it's good, I don't know what makes it good. And when it's bad, I don't know what makes it bad. Although, probably owing to unresolved psychological issues, when the music I make is bad, I take all the credit for it. And when something is good, I assume that it's just some fluke or some accident.
Going back to that song, that last song, I came across, and you've got many guest vocalists. You've worked with many people. I mean, John Kerry, you did, I think, Ring of Fire, correct?
Yeah.
Back in 2004 for his run, or his tilted presidency. There are numerous people I know that you've remixed, and we'll get onto that. But Elton John, you played piano whilst he sung that song.
Why Does My Heart Feel So Bad? Yeah.
Yes.
It was, when the album Play came out, and I'm not being self-deprecating, but I was kind of a has-been. Like in most people's estimation, my career had peaked in the mid-90s. So by 1999, when Play came out, my career was kind of done. And so somehow the album Play started to become more successful, and one of the earliest adopters of the album Play was Elton John.
He's a good supporter, isn't he? When he likes something, he sticks with it, doesn't he?
He, and I'm not exaggerating, probably bought around 500 copies of the album.
Okay.
And he gave them to all of his friends. So he was my almost... And I'd never met him.
Your mentor, not your mentor, your sponsor.
It was almost like my publicist.
Yes.
So I had this Elton John, when Play first came out, Elton John was my de facto publicist, even though I'd never actually met him or spoken to him. And then I played a show in LA, and he came backstage, and I think just in passing, I said, "Oh, we're playing Why Does My Heart Feel So Bad? Why don't you come out and sing?" So he said, "Sure."
Okay.
So he came out and sang.
So there was you on piano, and he's looking at the piano thinking, I could do that, but I'm going to leave that to you, and I'll do the singing.
It was, I mean, one of the strangest things about my life, I guess, like professionally and personally, is the number of my heroes I've been able to meet and work with.
Okay, first question. How does anybody become friends with David Bowie? He must have a wall of defences around him to filter those people that are coming close to him all the time.
He does, but he's also incredibly open.
Right.
Like he's, I guess, like a cell in that way, like a cell membrane, like it has to be open to certain things and closed to other things.
You were neighbours?
We were neighbours. Yeah. We went on, David Bowie and I went on tour together. Yeah. My favorite David Bowie memory is one morning he came over to my apartment in New York, and we, 9 o'clock on a Saturday morning, and we were hanging out in my living room, and I had an acoustic guitar, so I was playing Heroes on acoustic guitar. Yes. And so David Bowie sang Heroes in my living room, just the two of us.
Fantastic.
And it was one of those moments that I just thought to myself, it's more likely that this isn't actually happening and that I am institutionalized somewhere, and this is all just some big hallucination, because there's no way David Bowie could be in my living room singing Heroes.
Somebody created a parallel universe, and there you are, just,
And at present, I'm just delusional and in an institution wearing a padded, in a padded room with a straitjacket.
Like he wasn't Ashes to Ashes or whatever it was.
Yeah.
Okay, how do you make records now? I mean, what's the process to keep it sort of...
Oh, like this new album, Innocence, I made it in my bedroom and invited a bunch of these weird collaborators to come over and help me write songs. And, like Wayne and Mark Lanigan and Damien Jurado, the people we mentioned earlier. And I especially, with this record, I wanted it to have like a quality of sort of vulnerability to it. So I used a lot of old broken equipment. So diametrically opposed to, let's say, how I was making records 10 years ago when I was really caught up in the world of alcohol, drugs, partying, etc.
Big flash studios, etc.
Yeah.
To tape or digital?
Well, it depends. Ultimately to digital, but a lot of weird tape machines, like a lot of Echoplexes and a lot of most of the equipment used in making the record doesn't work very well. Yeah. And that was quite intentional because I wanted if I'm making a record that's sort of about the fragility and vulnerability of the human condition, I wanted to use equipment that was inherently sort of fragile and vulnerable.
And I believe you've been DJing nearly 30 years, obviously vinyl through the process. When you go out tonight, what will you use tonight?
Oh, tonight I will use USB sticks.
That's it, just walk in and drop it in.
So I realized if I go on tour and I'm playing live and I lose my guitar, you buy another guitar or you rent another guitar. I used to DJ with vinyl. And I realized if you go on tour and you're DJing and you lose your vinyl, you simply can't play.
No.
And so now I have everything backed up time and time again. So that way if the computer breaks, if I lose a hard drive, I still have everything backed up. So at the very least, I can play something.
Okay. Just a couple of quick sort of like, key trigger points here. Do you still have a tea house?
It still exists.
Yes.
Basically, in 2001, my then girlfriend and I opened a vegan tea restaurant called Teeny.
In New York City?
In New York City. And it did okay. It was a really adorable place. The problem was we were both constantly drunk and high, and none of us had any entrepreneurial experience or restaurant experience. So we just had no idea what we were doing, and we broke up the day it opened.
Okay.
So somehow this cute, adorable little jewel box of a tea shop survived and did okay, considering myself and my then girlfriend, we were just utterly dysfunctional, had no idea what we were doing. So I think it's still there, but I haven't been involved with it in quite a long time.
Okay, why move from New York to LA?
A large part of it is the desire to be warm in the wintertime. Because
Not Miami.
If you've ever, Miami's a little too humid, and also like whenever I'm in Miami, I really feel like Woody Allen, because I mean I look like Woody Allen, but like you go to Miami. And
I'm sure people have made that connection before.
Oh yeah, I've been called the Woody Allen of techno many times.
Oh, okay, what other nicknames have you had? Sorry, or family names before you go any further?
Well, I've had my nickname Moby since I was born.
Yeah.
Because my legal name is Richard Melville Hall.
That's right.
And when I was born, my dad gave me this nickname Moby because I'm related to Herman Melville, who wrote Moby Dick. And now, decades later, I still have my infant joke nickname. But
that served you well, hasn't it? I mean, look at Eno,
I guess so. I mean, it's just, and I've come to really love my nickname, even though I didn't choose it. For a while, I was sort of envious of people who had really cool nicknames that they chose, like Slash and The Edge and Bono.
And you don't think Moby outdoes those?
It seemed a lot nerdier.
Yes.
But then when I think that I'm named after like this vast, chaotic force of nature. I mean, because Moby Dick really is like, it's the first existential novel, and Moby Dick is the representation of like the existential void that when you rail against it, you're destroyed by it. So I'm pretty happy to be named after that.